What is up, people? Today we're going to give you a first look at the 2023 Ducati Panigale V2. Now, some things I want to clarify now. There are a couple differences between this and a stock bike. Not that this one is modified, but the fender has been deleted with a kit I'll show you. The mirrors have been replaced with Rizoma Stealth mirrors, so I do not currently have turn signals. And I removed the passenger foot pegs. I don't plan on using those. I have never taken a passenger on two wheels, and I don't think I ever will. So I do want to get a cover for this. They just didn't have it in stock right now, so I'll have to wait for those. This is what the Rizoma Stealth mirrors look like. For those of you that don't know, it's basically just a wing, and you can rotate it to present a mirror. And when you don't want a mirror, if you're at the track or something, being a racy boy, you can flip them into a wing. So they do take a little bit of resistance to be able to turn, so it's not like they're gonna be flapping around on the highway or something like that. The fender delete kit is a forged carbon piece. It bolts right up to the stock hardware, of course. You also have a tag light, turn signals, and you can either put the license plate in this tucked position or, you know, any other between, say, 120, 180 degrees. Coming around, of course, we have the single-sided swing arm, which I've never had on a bike before and I absolutely love. This nut right here reminds me of a GT2 or something. Nice compact exhaust tucked right under the bike, so it's not taking up any of this beautiful, simple area right here, especially along with those passenger foot pegs being removed. This quick shifter I've used maybe 100 miles, and it is absolutely beautiful. I never had any false neutrals or anything like that, at least not yet. You just have to make sure you're in a high enough RPM when you're upshifting and downshifting, so just stay on top of it. Of course, we have this spring and shock, the suspension setup on one side since it's a single-sided swing arm. This linkage right here is not adjustable like it is on the V4, but it can be purchased if you look for that kind of adjustability. There is quite a bit of slack in the chain, but that is by design. It's not like another sport bike that you may compare it to. This does call for more chain deflection than usual, so that's what that is. Coming around to the handlebar area, something that I found interesting, not really important at all. In the ignition body here is where the steering lock is, and when you turn it all the way to the left, you get this little almost detent or pin that sticks out and actually prevents the triplet tree from moving. So I'll show you what that looks like. Just thought that was pretty neat, nothing really significant there. So this bike is gonna have hydraulic clutch and hydraulic front brake, of course. So to be able to adjust the handle, all you need to do is push it forward and turn this knob right here, either clockwise or counterclockwise, to adjust its resting position. I've never had hydraulic clutch on any bike. I've had old sport bikes and that was a few years ago, so all this stuff is pretty new to me, but it's awesome to have. I haven't really noticed any differences between this and maybe a cable controlled clutch. They definitely do a good job of making it feel like something natural. And of course, this brake lever here is adjustable as well. It's easier if you turn the wheel to the right. Just make sure that you're not, putting too much weight on the stand if you have it down. Something interesting about this kickstand, it is part of the engine. So you shouldn't be sitting on the bike while the kickstand is engaged or using it to turn the bike or anything like that. It is part of the engine, so it is possible to crack the case and have oil leak out. So you just want to put minimal amount of strain on that kickstand there. In the front, of course, we have dual-sided Brembo brakes with a reflector delete here. Not much of a delete, not very much of a process either. You just get another one of these bushings right here and install it in place of the reflector. So we have these EvoTech radiator guards. I recommend these, especially for the price. I think for the set, they were $100 a piece, and you just can't go wrong with that. Whether you're gonna be on the road, track, or even just keeping the bike in your living room, it is an awesome addition to have, considering that for $200 you can protect 1,000 worth of radiators. So you definitely don't want anything happening to those radiators when you're doing 150 at the track or riding down the highway surrounded by other cars. That would be bad. So, my favorite features of this bike, one, I would say the mirrors. The daytime running lights are fantastic. I'll go ahead and show you those in a separate clip. This whole seat, This whole seating position, everything about how you mount this bike is amazing. The seat is this Alcantara-like, but not quite material. I think it has a little more water resistance than Alcantara would. But it is by far the most comfortable sport bike seat I have ever sat on. I think the longest I've been on it was about an hour and 45 minutes straight without even standing up. And my butt cheeks were pretty comfortable on that there. I'll go ahead and turn the bike on, show you what all that looks like. You do get a little display of all of the warning lights and functional lights just to make sure that they're still working. So that's what it looks like. You can also hear the fuel pump priming, which in person sounds pretty wild. It sounds like you're about to start up a jet. So a few things we have. Running temperature, your current gear, red line of 11,500, the mode that you're in there, and you also get a breakdown of what level of intervention you have on all of the different settings. You can also flip through using this switch right here, the different pieces of information. So your fuel consumption, your trip time, your air intake temperature. It also gives you a little warning that the kickstand is still down. These two lights are flashing here because you need to get the bike rolling 30 to 50 feet to get the ABS computer to actually read that everything is working properly, so that's normal. As far as the modes are concerned, we have a few different ones. So race is obviously going to be the most aggressive if you program it to be so. Sport is a step up from street, and street is basically where I have set up for close to rain settings. And right now, since it's still in break-in, I will be using street mode. I've only been experiencing about 100 horsepower of this bike, so that's pretty cool. The menu, I think, is super easy to use for someone that's never had a menu on a bike. I definitely think it's easy to use. The self-canceling turn signals I haven't used yet, but it is awesome having this push to cancel. I don't know if I sound like someone who's speaking from the 80s, but just all the bikes I've had were just super old. Early 2000s, late 1990s, which I realize is not old to some of y'all, but it is to me. These daytime running lights are just fantastic. If you press this button, it'll dim up a bit. I'm not too sure what the function of that is, but if you did want a little bit of a dimmer daytime running lamp, you can do that. So the headlights and the screen are actually tied to an ambient light sensor. So you will not have to turn on your headlights or turn them off, vice versa, if you are changing light conditions. This should change to a black color like it is now in the nighttime and switch to a silvery whitish color in the daytime. And it also adjusts the brightness of all that automatically. So that's pretty nice. The taillight is just absolutely beautiful. You have more than one channel for air to pass through. So you have one between the fairing and the inner part of, or the outer part of the taillight. You can see that there. And that's on each side. You also have a port for air to flow through, kind of like the R6 or something that you may have seen before. But I just love the way that this is all put together. And you can see the tag light is reflecting on nothing because I have it in the tucked position. So it kind of just illuminates my tire in a funny way, but who cares? I don't really ride at night that much either. So we'll go ahead and do a quick little cold start on this bike and show you what it sounds like, because it is pretty interesting. With it being a V-twin and a racy V-twin at that, it can take a little bit to get it going. And I thought it's, you know, some people don't like it, but I actually think it's pretty cool. Key is in the on position, bike is in neutral, as represented by the green end there, and the kill switch also acts as the starter. So we pull it down and hold it in this position until it's started, then let go. Let's see what it sounds like. I don't want to die in here or open the garage, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. That thing takes in and breathes out a lot of air. So, one more thing that I actually haven't tried myself is the high beam. Oh yeah, look at that. Maximum effectiveness. Let's see what I've actually never seen what the front looks like with both headlights illuminated. Oh man, that is just mean. What a beautiful bike, what a beautiful machine. Something to be respected, something to be loved and looked at and just treated like the beauty that it is. I understand it's just a thing, but it sure is a beautiful thing, and I think we can all agree on that. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment box and I will make sure to answer them to the best of my ability. I have read the manual for this thing once. I need to read it again because there's just so many features. You're talking 6-axis IMU, traction control, corner traction control, wheelie control. I mean, this thing has all the controls, but the beautiful thing about it is you can disable all of that if you know what you're doing and you're in a proper setting for it. So it's not the kind of bike that's gonna be constantly pulling power from you if you don't want it to. But it's something that if you wanna, maybe this is a second or third bike and it's your first liter bike, it's definitely a good option to go for because you do have pretty good control over how powerful it is. So, this is my look at the 2023 V2. Let me know if y'all have any questions.